The Ori personal disinfector must be disinfected every 2 weeks with the self-disinfection or SD cycle. The goal of this SD cycle is to give the disinfector a thorough cleaning, whereas the normal cleaning cycle is only used to clean the catheter. On the disinfector's home screen, you'll see a timer that counts down until the SD cycle is available. When it's available, the timer is replaced by an option to run the SD cycle that you can navigate to and select. If you don't run the SD cycle, the system will remind you that you need to run it, and after a day has passed, you will not be able to run a cleaning cycle without running an SD cycle first. The SD cycle will take about 5 minutes of active time to complete and will take approximately 40 minutes of overall time, including the time of the automated SD cycle. It is a 2-part cycle, so you will need to change the water in the carrying case about 32 minutes into the cycle. You will need the contents of 1 self-disinfection kit along with the stand-in. The stand-in replaces your catheter for the SD cycle. It resembles the Ori catheter except for 3 things. It does not have a catheter tube inside of it. It has a gray handle rather than a black handle, and it has a red racing stripe instead of a black one. It's very important that you use the stand-in instead of the catheter during the SD cycle. Before beginning the SD cycle, it is recommended that you use your catheter to catheterize and run a cleaning cycle. Empty the waste tank after the cycle, but do not refill the case with fresh water. The fresh tank should be empty when starting the SD cycle. To start the SD cycle, begin by selecting the Run SD Cycle option from the menu or from the Start Self-Disinfection screen, which may be shown after you've completed a cycle. Follow the instructions on the screen to complete self-disinfection. These instructions will be replicated here as well. Remember to press Select on the Personal Disinfector user interface to confirm that these steps have been completed. When prompted to by the screen, retrieve the Quick Start Guide from the SD kit and unpack the rest of the kit so you have access to its contents. The self-disinfection kit contains a replacement filter for your disinfector as well as 2 bottles of disinfectant. Both bottles have to be used in a single cycle. They are packaged this way to make air travel with the self-disinfection kit easier. After starting the cycle, eject your carrying case by pressing the eject button when prompted to by the screen. Empty wastewater from the case into a sink or toilet. If the water doesn't flow quickly, try giving the case a few hearty shakes until it starts flowing. Replace the cap when done. Press Select on the Ori user interface to advance the screen to the next set of instructions. Remove the fill cap from the case and carefully pour both of the disinfectant bottles into the case. These bottles contain disinfectant, so it's important that you try to fill the case slowly and avoid skin and eye contact. If contact does occur, rinse thoroughly under running water. If the case appears full and you still have disinfectant left in the bottle, do not overfill the case. You can empty the bottle in the sink and recycle the bottle. Close the case and turn it over. Press Select on the Ori user interface to advance the screen to the next set of instructions. Open the lid and remove your Ori catheter. Place this somewhere clean, such as a Tupperware container or a Ziploc bag. Retrieve the stand-in. First, load the tip side of the stand-in into the case. Place the stand-in onto the aluminum shelf in the case. Next, insert the funnel end of the stand-in into the case where the label indicates, with the black square pointing down onto the aluminum shelf in the case. Before you close the case, make sure that the stand-in sheath has not been twisted during the loading process. Then close the lid and press Select on the Ori user interface to advance the screen to the next set of instructions. And reload the case onto the base and select the Run Cycle option. The system will now run the first part of the SD cycle for the next 32 minutes. Do not move the disinfector during an active cycle and keep it on a flat surface. After the first part of the cycle is complete, the screen will notify you that part 1 is complete. Eject the case again and empty the wastewater. If the water doesn't flow quickly, try giving the case a few hearty shakes until it starts flowing. Replace the cap when done. Open the fill cap and fill the case completely with water by allowing the water to overflow as you're filling it. If you can control the speed of the water coming out of the tap, make sure that it is set to a slow flowing speed. It also helps to orient the case at a slight angle to allow it to fill completely. Replace the cap and make sure that you filled the case to the fill to line by holding it up vertically. If water does not reach the fill to line, uncap the case and try again. Take the case back to the personal disinfector base. Press select on the ORI user interface to advance the screen to the next set of instructions, and reload the case onto the base to continue. Use the select button on the user interface to start the second part of the SD cycle, which should only take about 5 minutes to complete. Do not move the disinfector during an active cycle and keep it on a flat surface. After the second part of the SD cycle is complete, eject the case from the personal disinfector. Empty wastewater from the case. If the water doesn't flow quickly, try giving the case a few hearty shakes until it starts flowing. Replace the cap when done. And fill the case with fresh water in preparation for your next cycle. Open the fill cap and fill the case completely with water by allowing the water to overflow as you're filling it. If you can control the speed of the water coming out of the tap, make sure that it is set to a slow flowing speed. It also helps to orient the case at a slight angle to allow it to fill completely. Replace the cap and make sure that you filled the case to the fill to line by holding it up vertically. If water does not reach the fill to line, uncap the case and try again. Take the case back to the personal disinfector base. Press select on the ORI user interface to advance the screen to the next set of instructions. Next, replace the stand-in with the ORI catheter. Store the stand-in in a secure place next to your remaining self-disinfection kits. Reload the catheter into the case. Make sure that the handle is in the loading position and that the tip is resting on its shelf in the carrying case. Make sure that the black square on the funnel is pointed down and that the funnel is also resting on its shelf in the carrying case. Finally, make sure there are no twists in the sheath. Then close the lid and reload the case into the disinfector. Press select on the disinfector's user interface to confirm that you have completed these steps. To finish up, you will need to replace the tap water filter on the device. Flip the device over and open the filter door by pulling on the gray tab and lifting the door open. Gently pull upwards on the clear elbow connector that is attached to the blue and green filter. Turn the connector so that it's easier to access and unscrew the filter from the connector. Dispose of the filter. Open the new filter from the self-disinfection kit and screw it onto the clear connector. Replace the filter into the filter housing and gently push the filter into place. Close the filter door, flip over the device, and confirm your filter change on the screen. Congratulations, you've completed self-disinfection. Since your catheter isn't clean, we recommend following this up with a regular cleaning cycle.